Hi everyone, this is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. I'm here to have another interview, introduce you to a phenomenal young lady, and I appreciate your patience. We're having some technical challenges on this end, but we're going to share amazing information with you all. Okay, I don't know what's going on, you all. Our interviewee is trying to tap in. Let's see what we can do on our end. There she is. Come on, work with me. Okay. There she is. Hey, patience is a virtue. And we finally worked with this technology, you all. Devoreaux!
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
I am flabbergasted. I'm all embarrassed. I was like, come on, technology, work with me. But I'm happy to see your beautiful face. And I'm happy that we're actually able to start now. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here, Jessica.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview. Okay, you all, so let's jump right in. Who am I? Hi, Striker Magazine community. This is the first time we're meeting. It's such a pleasure to say hello to you. I am your life and career strategist. What does that mean? That means I have a passion for helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. And one of those things that I do is I connect them with great people. So you all, this regular part is going to be a little bit different than my typical ones because I don't know that Devoreaux knows this, but she is my lady role model. She is my shero. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I cannot wait. I'm going to interview my spirit animal. Like she gets everything that I am. When I was doing research for business etiquette and different courses I wanted to write, I came across her material. And little did I know that this was going to take me on an adventure of just learning so much about this wonderful person I get to introduce you all to today. Not only is she an author, but she's a coach. She didn't stop there. She's not just a coach. She's a trainer. Not just a trainer. She has her own website, own YouTube channel. She has her own media personality. And what does she specialize in? She specializes in making sure that we are ladies every time we open our mouths, every time we interact with people. And she does so in a way that is not stuffy and old, like how maybe we would have learned generations ago, but she's personable. She's able to share it in a way that you know she loves you. You know, she's giving you that great information. And so you all, I want to give her an opportunity to introduce herself to you all while I just sit here and gush all about me being able to talk to her today.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction, Jessica. I'm really excited and delighted to be here, and it's truly an honor. I think that we are all on our own individual personal development journey, and I can honestly say that the transformation that I went through personally several years ago is really what inspired me to create The Modern Lady and share everything that I'm honored and delighted to share online to empower and encourage women to really be their best selves so they can live their best lives.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you all, I've got a whole list of questions that I have to stick to because I am so excited and just the celebrity crush is what I'm having right now. So if you all see my eyes dart a couple of times, it's because I need to make sure that I look at my notes and be able to communicate with Devoreaux. Okay. So I started a series called the Wellness Wednesday series, and or I should say Woman Crush Wednesday series, and it talks about different aspects of being well and performing in your career. And one of those things is manners. So I was so excited that Deborah agreed to talk with me because that's something that she specializes in. Knowing what to do, how to behave in different situations. And that's essentially what etiquette is. So I wanted to introduce you all to her so she can share with you all some of the work that she does. So she introduced herself. She said she's had some things. Okay, it says we got some echo going on, you all. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. Let's see. Can you all hear me? Is that a little bit better now?
Yes, I can hear you. You sound great, Jessica.
Okay, awesome. Someone said there's a little bit of echo on their end. Okay, so I want to make sure we sound very, very clear. Much better now. Okay, so like I was saying, that Devoreaux is a writer and she's a coach and she's able to formulate classes to help people to navigate those unspoken rules. And she didn't mention in her bio, but she wrote a wonderful book, Je Ne Sais Quoi. That is gorgeous. I love that. Absolutely love that title. So I'm just curious, what led you to write that book?
Yes, well, that's a great question, and thank you for the kind words, Jessica. Je Ne Sais Quoi was really, I would say, 2 years in the making. I spent a lot of time really enjoying being on YouTube, and a lot of women would reach out. I would do a lot of classes and workshops and seminars for large groups, and I also did one-on-one coaching. But what I found is that a lot of women would ask me the same questions, and really at the end of the day, when women are trying to figure out how to navigate this lifestyle where it's really just an essence of who you are, how to have this sense of femininity and elegance and class, but be able to be consistent with that in any occasion, with any group of people, regardless of where they are. And that was really, I think, the main motivation for me to write Je Ne Sais Quoi, because I wanted to put everything in one place so that women had this resource that really could just lay out the blueprint, if you will, for how to truly embrace an elegant life. And elegance is really not about being stuffy. It's not about being snobby or standoffish. It's the exact opposite of that. It's about really having a sense of confidence in yourself and being able to really share that best version of yourself comfortably in your own skin and authentically with others.
Mm-hmm. So I heard a couple of words that just really excited me. You said elegance, you said femininity, and these are words that just you don't see in hashtags anymore, or you don't see in the media anymore. So when you say elegance and femininity, what comes to mind, and what do you mean by that?
So when I refer to elegance, what I'm really talking about is this presence that's captivating, it's alluring, it's really, and that's why I titled my book Je Ne Sais Quoi, because it's almost unspoken. It's hard to identify exactly what it is, but it's this charm, and it's not necessarily just in how you dress, but it's also in how you connect with others when you're authentic and genuine and real. And the femininity piece is really just the ability to honestly be comfortable being a woman and embracing being a woman and sharing your woman experience in whatever way that means for you. A lot of women think that femininity is only about wearing pearls and heels and earrings, but it's really about being confident and comfortable in who you are as a woman. And I'm a very proud feminist. I do believe that despite the world we live in, that we can still be women and have our power and also have morals and character and really live our lives with a sense of decorum. I think it is possible to do that, and that's really my greatest passion, and that's why I do teach it, because like you're referring to, Jessica, it really is almost a lost art. And now the trends are, just accept whatever I have to say. I'm going to be unapologetic. And there is a way to be unapologetic in 2019 and going into 2020, but you can still do it with a sense of tact.
Absolutely. Because oftentimes people are saying that they are being unapologetic, but they're really dressing up rude. So,
Yeah.
it really is, so that word tact excited me when you said that, because everything can be said with tact. And so some of those unspoken rules are what get people thrown out of positions or put into positions. So what you're saying is so vitally critical to anyone who is trying to chart their career path, trying to establish a business, trying to establish relationships, because these are the things that someone may not tell you, that this is why you didn't get the position. This is why you didn't get the loan. This is why we're not inviting you to this event, because of that je ne sais quoi. We can't quite put our finger on it, but we're not seeing that from you. So I'm so grateful that you're sharing this information. So, two things that came to mind as you were talking as well. A few weeks ago, we did a series about accelerating your career. And one of the things we said was that you need to have a role model on your executive board. Everyone needs to have an executive board for their career. One, I want you to know that you're on my executive board. You are my role model. So I was like, what is Devoreaux wearing today? What is she posting today? So that role model position is someone you may admire from afar. You may never have an opportunity to converse with you. That's why I'm like, yay, I get to talk with her. But it's somebody who I can pattern my career after, who I can look at their examples, see how they interact with situations. So that's one reason why we brought you on, because you can act as that role model. But I also hear that coaching aspect. So I hope that you all heard that as well, that she is also a coach. So when you're looking for debunking that fifth myth that we talked about, that people think that once they get into a position, they're secure. You have to know business etiquette. So let's talk a little bit more to Devoreaux about what does that even look like. So when it comes to your profession, what would you say are like the top 5 things you think people need to know in terms of etiquette, elegance, ladylike, and decorum and tact? What would be those 5 things that you think that they should know?
You know, I would even just boil it down to one thing, Jessica, because at the end of the day, it's really all about respect. And when I say respect, I'm referring to almost a two-pronged answer to that.
Okay.
You've got to have respect for yourself in terms of how you're presenting yourself, how you're showing up, your standard of excellence in how you're performing at work and what you're doing. Are you sitting at the office and scrolling on Facebook? Are you using company time? Are you expensing things on a company trip that you know you're not necessarily with a client? So it's respect for yourself, and then it's also respect for others in terms of how we're addressing people, treating them. And it's really extended across every touch point that you have with someone. When you're at the grocery store and someone's bagging your groceries, are you being respectful? Are you being kind? When you're maybe leaving the bookstore or church and someone's right behind you, maybe it's an elderly person and you see that they've got a heavy bag, are you extending a sense of kindness to help them during that time of need, or where you see that you could be of assistance? And so I think at the end of the day, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's family, it's about respect. And I really like that you talked about role model, because for all the moms out there watching this, when we think about our behavior, even in those moments that no one is watching, those are the ones that are the most important, because it's that sense of integrity. What is the role model we are playing in terms of our behavior and how others can emulate what we're doing? And so a great example of that is, it's the small things. You could receive something in the mail that you ordered online and you get 2 extra products that you weren't charged for, you didn't pay for. Are you going to return those? It's the little things that matter. It's when you're driving in the car and someone cuts you off. What is your response? What are you doing? Because even if no one is around you to watch, someone is always watching. And that's so important for us to remember in terms of how we carry ourselves and how we're not only respecting ourselves, but really respecting others in the world around us.
Absolutely. Great information. And I really think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about that business etiquette, because it's so easy to take home the company pencil or to print off your child's project. And people are giving you wonderful information. They're saying, hi, ladies, and very well said, Devoreaux. Absolutely. You're speaking so eloquently to what we need to, bad habits that we need to break. We need to leave behind in 2019. So that we're not bringing into 2020. So you said you spoke specifically to moms. Is there anything specifically to women that you think that it's something that people are often forgetting, or in terms of how they interact with people, that you feel like we should share that wisdom with them, specifically to women?
Yes, and I would definitely want to encourage any woman watching this who may think that femininity is a sign of weakness, that it's actually the greatest strength that we have. When we think about femininity and having this quiet strength and having this sense of gentleness and just being comfortable being who we are, there's a lot of attention and focus placed on women taking on more masculine energy, which in the workplace is appropriate in certain aspects. You have to do it, right? As an attorney, as a CEO, C-level, as a manager, when you've got direct reports, there are certain times when you may have to exude that masculine energy, but it's all about the sense of balance, because at times when we allow that masculine energy to overpower who we are as women, we're not really embracing what being a woman is all about. And so I would certainly want to really just encourage any woman watching this who feels that she has to fit the mold or say something just because it's being expected, that you can find a way to be authentically who you are with femininity and still carry a sense of elegance and presence about you that's genuine and that's real. I think as women of color, sometimes it's really difficult for us to find what I would call a happy place, right? Because sometimes we can get so emotionally, passionately involved that we come off as angry or abrasive or aggressive. But it's really just about finding a way to balance all of the passion, all of the excitement with a sense of elegance. And so maybe it's a little bit of a push and pull that happens, but it is something that you can achieve. And so I think, we never end our personal development journey. It's all about evolving and really striving to improve in the areas that we can be honest with ourselves through self-awareness to know and identify, okay, I need to work on that. Patience, I need to work on that. My temper, I need to work on that. There's nothing wrong with identifying those areas and being able to work to get to a higher level. That's really what life is all about. It's about elevating so that you can truly always be striving to achieve and improve where you think that there's room to grow.
Absolutely. That was so beautifully spoken. And as you were speaking, one of our audience members talked about how she wanted to use that even in how she was parenting her 15-year-old. And so I want to encourage you all to pick up her book, because what she's sharing, even though she's talking about women, this is something that if you could instill in your children at a very young age, it will come much more easy for them as an adult. Like she said, you're going to continue to grow and develop, but these are skills that unfortunately people who are making six figures and above don't have. And so this is why we really need to have that conversation about how do we interact in different spaces. And as you were speaking, I thought about the fact that sometimes people will see others being promoted around them, and they feel like they're speaking their minds in meetings, but unfortunately they're not getting the feedback that they would like. And it's sort of like you were saying, like that happy ground. How do I speak up for myself but still say it with class, still say it with being able to keep our reputation and character intact? And that can be kind of a tango to be able to do that. So I was just curious, do you have a tip to be able to find that happy place? Like what is there anything that they should kind of self-assess specifically for to be able to kind of find a happy place?
Yes, I think being assertive is so important, and we must stand up for ourselves. There's the opposite side of being overly aggressive is to just be a doormat, right? And that's never a good position to be in. So as a confident woman, you have to be empowered to stand up for yourself. But in terms of your delivery, when I often think about decorum and what that really means, especially in a conversation or in an interaction, it's less about the what and more about the how. So there's a way in which you can speak with someone without raising your voice, without using profanity. You can keep an even temper, and it may even help to do deep breathing, or if you have to start meditating before you know you're going into a difficult conversation, whatever you can do to keep your body language and keep that energy that you are exuding in a more positive and gentle light, because all of those little mannerisms, all those little things definitely make a difference. And that's what people pick up on. And that can easily make someone very defensive. Their guard will go up immediately, and it can turn a situation from like 0 to 100. So we just have to be careful with the how we're delivering things. And a lot of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we can know just what those triggers are. Maybe it's something that someone did or said. We know that our eyebrows may get scrunched, our shoulders, our body may tense up. We know that the profanity may come out, or maybe it's, raising the voice in a loud tone, or overreacting, or lashing out. A lot of us know what our triggers are. It's just that we don't necessarily want to face them because it's not fun, and it's hard to do that inner work. But I'm telling you that the inner work is what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference between the people that live average, mundane, average Jane lives, and the ones that really do overachieve and excel and live better than their wildest dreams.
Absolutely. So much wisdom you just shared. And as you were chatting, a member of our audience talked about, there's a TED talk about women of color being passionate. So I've been that. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out. But you hit the nail on the head, because so much of communication is nonverbal. So is my neck rolling? Is my finger going? Are my nostrils flared? Are all these things happening? Is my body sending me triggers that I am in fact getting upset, or that I need to take a breather, that I need to calm down? And a lot of times that's something that, again, like you said, it's an internal work. And you painted the picture so well, because the difference between living a life that's full of struggle and one that's of wells of character is the internal work. And it does take a little bit more time than scrolling through your Instagram feed. It takes an investment. And so one of the investments I encourage you all to do is, the first investment is to purchase the book, because you're investing. And this is not just for women. I would dare say even for men as well, because when we're talking about etiquette, it's not just for one gender. The other piece is, if you're raising daughters, fathers, mothers, grandfathers, whoever, this is a great book to have for them so that you can raise them. One of the ways that we teach children how to interact with people that are of the opposite sex is to learn how they should be treated. So if you have a son, buy the book and read it so he could pick out a woman, a lady to invest in. If you have a daughter, make sure that you buy her the book so that she knows what it means to be a young lady. The other thing is, you need to invest in a quality coach. So Devoreaux, you didn't tell us all the experience that you have, but I know, I looked at this bio, you have extensive experience. First and foremost, she's an HBCU graduate. So enough said there. She went to the Spelman. My sister went to that school, and so I know it's filled with rich traditions of raising young ladies and elevate them in their leadership and in their education. You all, thank you so much for all the love you're sending to Devoreaux. And if you like what she's talking about, say, bring Devoreaux back. Tell Swagger Magazine, bring her back. Tell me, Jessica, do another interview, because I surely will do another interview, another project with this wonderful young lady. So I was curious, do you have anything upcoming on your calendar, any announcements, any events that you want to let the community know about?
Well, the biggest announcement that I have coming out in just a couple of weeks is the ebook version of Je Ne Sais Quoi being released on Friday, January 3rd. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because I would say about 85% of my audience online is not in the United States, where I am. And so the access to Je Ne Sais Quoi, the printed version with shipping, is for some locations very difficult. And this ebook is a huge game changer because it gives everyone the access to have the wealth of knowledge and information to really learn how to just increase your self-confidence. That's really what it's about. That's the heart of what Je Ne Sais Quoi is. There are a lot of practical strategies for you to learn how to unlock and unleash your greatest potential. And so many of us want to play small. We want to live in a really comfortable, cozy little cave or nest, and we don't want to venture out beyond that. But everything we ever want is on the other side of fear. All of the success, all of the happiness, all of the love, the joy, the peace, everything. So it's really taking that first step to take the step outside of your comfort zone and start that journey in whatever way that means for you. For some of us, it's starting with our health and nutrition, and then we do get to the mental health and everything else. For others, it's starting with wardrobe. For others, it's starting with the career. Let me get my resume done. Whatever starting point that you have, my biggest recommendation is that once you conquer one area, keep on going, because it really is about elevating your entire life and not just one area, which is how I wrote Je Ne Sais Quoi. There is a chapter in the book for every area. I talk about career success. I talk about wardrobe, beauty routines. I talk about mental health, mastering your mindset. All of it is so incredibly important. And so for a lot of us that do feel overwhelmed, I just need everything to be better in my life. Just start with one area. What one thing can you start with in January 2020 and just see where the journey takes you?
Absolutely. I really like that. You might even want to quarter it off. So one chapter, a quarter of the year, or, just kind of do a couple of months of study and focus on that one particular area. Devoreaux, you said something that was really interesting, and this is a very sincere question. You said a lot of your sales are out of the country. So you are teaching global concepts. That's still so very intriguing to me. Why do you think that so many people outside of our country are eager to learn about this, and that there's such a differentiation between the people who are in this country?
Well, I will say that what's interesting is our American culture does not place a very high importance on respect, etiquette, self-presentation. I think that when we look at pop culture in America and what's trending, what's accepted, we are almost faced with anything goes, anything is welcome. We'll just, kind of allow everything to be appropriate. But what I found is that other nations are far more conservative, and even if they don't necessarily have a culture with a lot of character values or following etiquette principles, it's still a bit more considerate than our American culture. And so what I found is that a lot of women are just interested in trying to latch on to this idea of elegance. And for most of us, we do have that role model. We do have someone we've seen from afar, even if it's from another era, Lena Horne or Billie Holiday or Audrey Hepburn. A lot of women connect with the idea of elegance and sophistication, and they want that lifestyle, and they want to know how to get a piece of that, how they can drink it in the morning, how they can enjoy that life. And that's really what I'm here for. So
Awesome. And I was thinking, when you said ebook, that's awesome. That means that even on your commute, you can take this with you. So spend a little less time scrolling through social media and chatting, unless you're, of course, checking out Devoreaux's information or our YouTube channel. Definitely make sure that you're playing that, and spend a little more time investing in you. And consistently, I talk about people investing. We invest in what we think is important. If you think excelling in life is important, this is an investment worthwhile. And it's going to involve an investment of different things. One is going to involve investment of time, because you've got to read it. You've got to listen to it. You've got to be able to interact with it. It's going to involve an investment of energy. So it's going to take away from maybe, Netflixing and chilling on your couch. It's going to take some energy. The other thing is, it's going to take a financial investment. And if we're spending money on all these, the holidays and everything like that, there's some of these things we're not even going to use past February. So invest in something that's going to be life-changing and generational changes. So passing that down from generation to generation, because these are skills that no one can take from you once you have it. So it's really important that you do that. So you mentioned the book, and we talked about it being an ebook now. How do people connect with you if they want to be coached by you?
Yes. So if you're interested in learning more about Je Ne Sais Quoi or my coaching program, The Secret to Chic, you can learn more at themodernlady.com. Everything is on the website, and you will be able to explore, read all of the options. And whenever I've got new exciting announcements, everything is on themodernlady.com. So that's where you can find it. And I would like to respond really briefly to the lady that commented and said, fancy swag her. I read that part of helping my 15-year-old daughter not to be so overwhelmed was to not overact in front of her. And I would like to respond and say that's so incredibly important, because our children and the future generation learn from seeing. They learn from watching what we're doing. That is the best teacher that they're ever going to have, is your behavior. And so it's really important for all of us. We are all being watched, even if we're not parents. We have mentees. We have young professionals on the job. We have young adults in church. There are other people in your community that are watching you. There may be someone that looks up to you that you don't even know who they are, and they're just watching you from afar. And so that is why it's so incredibly important to carry ourselves with a sense of respect. At the end of the day, it's really about respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so much of what's being taught is not being said. So you're absolutely right. We're that role model for them. So is there anything that you want to, we're going into 2020. One, I'm challenging you all to go buy the book, because we're talking about life-changing information here. But I wanted to give a space for you, Devoreaux, to challenge the audience in any way. Going into 2020, what do you hope for them? What do you want them to change and or challenge them in?
I love the challenge around investment, because I think it's so easy to say, okay, I'm gonna get to that. I'll do it in March. March comes around. No, I'll get to it in June. I got to go on this vacation. So I love that. I would say my challenge would be to anyone watching this, what can you do at least every day as an act of kindness? Maybe it's an act of kindness for yourself. Is it self-care? Is it turning off the TV? Is it taking a nap? Is it going to the spa, getting a massage? Is it ending work early to spend time with your children or to start a new hobby? Maybe you want to learn a new language. What can you do to be kind every day, whether it's to yourself or to someone else? You don't have to know them. You can, pay for someone's groceries at the grocery store. You can go and deliver flowers to a family member or a friend that you haven't seen in a while. You can send a text or a word of encouragement. You can reach out to someone that you haven't connected with in a long time and ask, how can I pray for you? What can you do? One thing every day that is kind. So it's not a random act of kindness. It's an intentional act of kindness for 2020. That's my challenge for everyone watching this.
Yay! I'm joining in on this challenge. You should join with me, that we are going to do an act of kindness every day. And one of the things that you all are doing, Deborah, I don't know if you see it, but all these hearts on the side are definitely acts of kindness. And we're hearing love, love, love. That means we've got to bring you back. I'm starting to get some of the feedback again, so let's see if we can clear it up a bit. So we definitely have to bring Devoreaux back. So we want to thank Swag Her Magazine community for having this opportunity to have this conversation, because again, so many conversations are happening that have nothing to do with femininity, have nothing to do with elegance, or they think that elegance is how much something costs or the label that's on it. And elegance does not have to be that. And Devoreaux showed that to you all. And etiquette is not something stuffy. She didn't wag her finger at you and say, stop that, you're doing it wrong. She told you exactly what that is. That's respect. That's being loving and kind to all people that you meet. One moment, Devoreaux. Hold on. Thank you for your patience. I'm back. So one of the things, like I said, that we want to make sure that we are investing, make sure that we're doing that act of kindness. One, make sure you show some kindness. Head over to Devoreaux's page. If you're not already a follower, become a follower. If you're not already signed up for her email, get on her email because she's going to send you some great information. So you really want to make sure that you are investing in yourself, like she said, that act of kindness towards yourself. So in terms of announcements on my side, if you all are ready, once you bought Devoreaux's book, she's talking about career acceleration, send me your email. Send your resume to me so we can do a live review of your resume. Or if you want to teach a master class like Devoreaux just did, this was a master class, you all. In an hour or less, she can teach you exactly what to do to excel in your life. Why don't you send your resume over to jessicacanty@jessicacanty.com. And if you like what you heard today, which I saw all that love and thumbs up and all that stuff, let Swag Her Magazine know, because I definitely want to ask Devoreaux back. We might have to have a how to behave at a tea behavior conversation, or how to have an interaction with someone when you're the hostess or you're the guests, because she is only sharing with you all just tidbits of all the awesome information you can find in her book and on her website. So if you want to take it a step further, 2020, first things up, before the 2020 comes, buy the book, then head over to her website, find out how you can be coached by her, and get ready to have an amazing year, to start an amazing decade. Devoreaux, do you have anything else you want to share with the community?
I'm just so excited for everyone going into next year. 2020 is the year of perfect vision. So I would really encourage everyone, if you haven't had time to sit down and think about your goals, take some time, carve it out, do it. If it doesn't happen, things that don't get planned just don't take off. So it's really important that we plan ahead and be just a bit more intentional in how we're living.
Absolutely. It's not a plan, and it's just a dream without the plan, without walking those steps out. She's going to give them to you. Again, I can't tell you how excited and how grateful I am that you decided to carve out some time in your schedule. I'm still going to be thumbsing up and hitting hearts and love on everything that you're doing and promoting it to this community. And I definitely will connect with you again. We've got to do this again. What you think, Devoreaux?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me, Jessica. This was an absolute pleasure.
Mine too. All right, you all. You can check out this complete interview if you missed any part of it on the YouTube channel. And again, show her some love. I'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Devoreaux.